Hello everybody and welcome to another top 5 board gaming video. Today I'm going to be talking all about print and play games, but more specifically I'm going to be talking about games that are normally actual board games that you can get as print to play versions. So this is a little bit different from games that are released strictly as print and play, and I'm really curious what you guys think about this because legally speaking it might be a little bit The vast majority of the things I'm going to be talking about today are endorsed by the publishers or have been released by the publishers though. So we do have that going for us, but this is obviously something for a discussion. What do you guys think about print and play games? Is it something that you've done? Is it something that you like? More importantly, is it something that you can enjoy as much if there is a full-fledged actual game available? Please let me know anything and everything you think in the comments below because you know I love to hear it all. But that said, I'm going to go ahead and get started with my number 5. At number 5, I've got Dune. Dune is low on the list for a few reasons. First off, there was never really a fully endorsed version of print and play, and secondly, there's no real need to do print and play anymore. The reason print and play came out for Dune was because the original game went out of print and it was gone for a very long time. This is a relatively recent remap or redo of the game that came out not too long ago, and so we are once again able to play the game, and that's great. And so there's no reason to do the sort of shady, partially finished, mostly finished, complete, but still kind of funky print and play versions. And so it's just a little bit weird. But that said, it was always kind of the holy grail of print and plays where everybody was looking to try to get their hands on something that worked reasonably well. And so that's why it's still on the list, but at my number 5. At number 4, I've got Citadels. You can print and play Citadels. The thing is, why would you bother? It's pretty cheap, there's not really a reason to, and honestly, if you really want to, you can recreate it with a kind of altered deck of cards if you really want to. But that said, there is a nice print and play version that you can get direct from the manufacturer, and so, you know, if you really want to play it, then why not? I mean, all it is cards and some little money tokens. You can use anything you want as money tokens, and you really just need the cards. So it's an easy thing to print and play, and it is a good game. That said, if you don't have good quality paper that you're printing on, then you're gonna be kind of frustrated because you need to have something nice in order to make sure that you've got good stuff that you're going to be able to shuffle around and all that kind of thing. Citadel's my number 4. At number 3, I've got the Manhattan Project. This is an interesting one because it's a fairly complicated game. You've got a lot of pieces, you've got a lot of stuff going on, you've got a lot of boards, a lot of cards, a lot of just things that are happening, but there is a print and play version available out there, and on top of that, it is pretty good, and you can get it, and you can play it, and you can do all sorts of cool stuff with it. But that said, I personally prefer the original game. I like it more. I like the feeling of having the workers and the cards and the boards and all of that kind of stuff. I just think it works. I think it works nicer. Just like with Citadels, or honestly with any of these games, if you're not printing on really good quality like cardstock or high quality paper or anything like that, it's going to feel cheap and nasty, and it's not going to go so great. But either way, as far as complexity, this is probably the most complex game on the list, and it does have some good quality print and play files that you can use for it, which is great. And so it can give you a chance to try ahead of time, which is something that we don't normally see with larger games of the sort. So Manhattan Project, my number 3. At number 2, I've got Chronicles of Crime. That's right, we have an official print and play of a couple of scenarios for Chronicles of Crime, and that's great because this is a game that I really want to play and I don't have. And it's interesting because the Chronicles of Crime normally uses the app, and so you have to have the app in order to make everything work, and having the print and play, I don't know how well it works, honestly, and the reason that this is so high on the list is simply because it's a game that I want to play so badly, and it's a game that I really appreciate as far as logic and deduction and all of that sort of thing, but at the same time, printing and playing with something like this, I'm not sure how well it works, but I am super excited that they got it available because this is a game that has been relatively popular and it can be hard to get your hands on. So Chronicles of Crime overall, my number 2. At number 1, we've got Root. That's right, Root. The first scenario, I believe, it may even be the first and second scenarios, are available as print and plays from the publisher, which is virtually unheard of for stuff like this. This means that we can get all of the materials that we need with characters and boards and sheets and cards and everything that you need in order to try out one of the most popular games of the last few years, which is absolutely incredible and virtually unheard of. In this particular case, we're talking about a massive asymmetric game that is extremely difficult to get, not to mention relatively expensive pretty much wherever you go. So all in all, I haven't tried the print and play version personally, but if it lets you play Root, then yes, it's on the list and it's at the top of the list at my number 1. Well, everybody, that's it for me. I hope that you enjoyed this video on my top 5 print and play games. Now, again, these are games that already exist in some other form, but you're able to print and play and kind of recreate, whether by somewhat shady dealings or less shady dealings directly from the manufacturer. So it's kind of nice to have the option of being able to kind of try before you buy type of thing if one of your friends or family members or whatever doesn't own the game, but at the same time, printing and playing can really significantly reduce the experience overall of the game, because you are not going to get that quality of the components, you're not going to get the same feeling, and you have to have a bunch of chits and coins and meeples or something like that kind of lying around that you can use as workers or whatever it happens to be. At least typically you'll need that. But either way, it's still an exciting thing, and it's a great thing for publishers to do so that people can try out the games at first. That said, you guys know I want to hear from you. What are your favorite games to print and play? Have you done it? Do you prefer games that are exclusively print and play, and have you played any of those? Let me know anything and everything below, because you know I love to hear it. And of course, as always, if you haven't done so, please take a look at my various social media pages where you can interact with myself and my channel in a whole bunch of really fun and interesting ways. Last but not least, of course, we are still fighting COVID. Fight it, beat it back, win, go, go. Stay safe, stay well. Don't worry, we are on the downswing. Hopefully, things are going down, and hopefully we are going to beat this thing relatively quickly, but we do still have to work together to try it. So, thank you all very much. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time.